Hello, everybody. This is Chris with the Transporter Room. Tonight I have Stephanie K from the NX-7062. She's our
Hi.
first guest.
I'm your first. Oh my gosh. I'm flattered and very excited. So thank you for inviting me.
Well, thank you for being willing to join and help me out on my little endeavor here, because this is what it is.
Absolutely.
It's an endeavor.
My pleasure.
And to go with the people that know what they're doing. Um,
We're just really good pretending that we know what we're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You are correct. This is all pretend. I mean, what the heck? We're Star Trek
I'm talking
fans.
about me. I'm not talking about me.
Hey, I pretend too. I'm not gonna lie. I pretend as well. Hey, we're sci-fi fans. We're fandom. I mean, we have to do it. This is what we do.
Absolutely.
And so, and that's where that's what got me started in all this stuff was, oh my gosh, I remember watching. I don't know. I think it was probably Star Wars. I'm not gonna lie. That was probably my first, some of my first sci-fi.
Sure.
I mean, it was everybody's probably just about, or a good chunk of people. But I've met you through. It's weird how we actually met. Was kind of just like I think I was watching all the people this last year in STLV and all the videos and the pictures and all that stuff, and I was like, man, this looks like they're having a lot of fun. And I want to say I can't remember for sure, but I want to say I like responded to some post anyway, who knows what it was? Hell, YouTube, Facebook, whatever, And we just started connecting, and you started telling me about what the hell was going on at STLV, and oh my god, I started seeing like your pictures and like all these, Dave Gregory, people I don't even know. Now I know them. I've met them virtually. And you were like my gateway drug to, to this stuff. Not my gateway podcast. That was the other show.
I don't think anybody's ever called me their gateway to anything before, so that's awesome.
Oh, that's too funny. Yeah, Shutterpod Show is my gateway to the YouTube side of these shows.
Right.
But so honestly, what got you started into just like the fandom in general, sci-fi, all that stuff, not necessarily Star Trek, but what got you going?
Honestly, it might have been I mean, my grandfather, my grandfather loved science fiction, so it's like I inherited it. But probably Star Trek, honestly, Star Trek, Lost in Space, all those. Now I didn't see them originally. I saw them in the reruns.
Same
but here. But yeah, I loved Lost in Space and Star Trek, and a lot of the other 60s shows that were running, that they were rerunning a lot in the early 70s, especially if you lived, I got Philadelphia TV stations, so Philly TV stations. I know New York TV stations too would just run a lot of the old stuff, especially back then. And then I think probably my first two, the first few movies in my life that I remember seeing are Star Wars and Superman, because I saw them both.
Oh yeah, I always forget about Superman. I don't know why. I always forget about that. But you're right.
You can't forget about him now. I mean, the new trailer looks really good.
I haven't had I have not watched that yet. I've started. It's really good though.
I thought the trailer was really good. I'm mad that they redid the original John Williams score. They need to find new music. But outside of that, the trailer looks really good.
I didn't need to hear that, but
well, everybody now consider yourselves warned. They revamped the John Williams score, and I'm a little ticked. It's the only thing that's ticked me off, because that's Christopher Reeve's music. That's not anybody else's.
Yeah, I mean, how do you? Anyway, that's a discussion for another time. We'll put a pin in that for now.
I think I know what James Gunn was trying to do, but I don't think he realized he was going to annoy people more than make them feel nostalgic.
Whoops.
I'm not nostalgic for the music. If I want the music, I'm going to turn it on. It's the same thing with Star Trek. I love the Star Trek soundtracks.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, so my gateway. I mean, my gateway was pretty much. I think it was equal parts the superhero stuff and Star Trek and Star Wars. I mean, everybody sits there and then you can point. Oh well, the first episode of this I saw. I just know that my first Star Trek experience was reruns of the original. Don't ask me what episode it was.
Oh
I
yeah.
just remember being a kid and watching Captain
Mhm.
Kirk and Mr. Spock, and if I was ever flipping channels and Star Trek was on, I stopped.
Yeah.
I stopped.
Well, and that was my thing. And see, I was talking to somebody today on Discord, one of our Seventh Row members, and we were talking about that because I knew this was going to be coming up, and she lived in the like the Baltimore area or North Carolina area, I think she said, and so she had all the channels. They were always broadcast, and unfortunately, where I live, Corpus Christi. I don't live in Corpus Christi. I live in a little town called Fulton, Texas, and Corpus Christi is our, that's our major city. So that's where we get all of our networks from, and everything came so slow. But I do remember we were talking about that. I remember watching TNG because that was my first Star Trek series, and it was on. I'd stay up until 10 because it always came on after the news, like 10:30 at night. And we were talking about, I think it was something I heard on like the Salon Trek or something recently that, and I made a comment about that. I remember watching, it's because we're doing the seventh world end of season 4. And we were reviewing Best of Both Worlds at the beginning. And I remember being just like on the edge, waiting all the way until September. Now I know, we know what's going to happen. They're not going to kill John Luke, but still, all you hear is fire.
Dun, yeah, dun, dun. I mean, you didn't know. You didn't know back then.
No, you didn't know. No, you didn't. And it's like, oh my God, I got to wait all summer long until September. But that's what we were talking about. And that's where I'm like, you were up in that area. So because you could get New York stations and all that, y'all were always, I'm assuming, you always had the stuff available to you within reason. It wasn't delayed getting to you, I'm assuming.
No, I mean, we got the seasons when they were, we got everything when it was on. We didn't have a delay and like season and stuff. So
and you're lucky because, like I said, because we didn't have all the affiliates down, our affiliates didn't always carry everything. It would come like I didn't get to watch DS9 until it came on streaming. Yeah, it's a shame. So, and then when I finally got satellite TV, I was able to. I remember, I think it was DirecTV and Dish Network send out a form saying, "Look, I live in a market that doesn't have UPN. Give me the LA and New York feeds," and they did. So then I got to watch Voyager, of course, Enterprise.
Enterprise when they ran it, that was always the problem.
Oh, I know, it's true. And so okay, well that's and that's that's how we got into it, and then you have. I still, people always ask me what's my favorite. I have to say, it really is probably Enterprise. And what's your favorite Star Trek series? I think I know the answer. I'm like, I know the answer.
My show, my logo for my show is literally a ripoff of the badge.
Yeah. Okay. I was wondering, how did you come up with all of that? Your show and everything.
Okay. Well, how did I come up with the show?
Yeah, and all this stuff.
Okay. In a nutshell, I actually used to be a DJ, like on air radio live DJ.
Oh, okay.
Back in
wow.
mid to late 90s. In a little in State College, Pennsylvania, where I was living, home of Penn State, go Lions. I was actually on air. And then I left State College, and then I did some internet radio for a while. Then flash forward a big chunk of years, and I became a country music promoter. I used to call radio stations and promote my artists' singles. That's how I met Magic Lasso. Shout out to Lasso because he's a frequent guest on my show. Or frequent.
I was wondering how you met him.
Yeah, that's how I met Lasso. He worked at a radio station, and I would call him every week. And Lasso is a huge comic book sci-fi fan as well. So Lasso and I became friends. That's how I met Lasso.
Okay.
And talking, the way country music promotion works isn't always about the song that you're promoting or your artist. It's about making connections with the radio people that you're trying to convince to play. Because if they like you, then there's a better chance that they're going to put your song in their rotation. So I
Okay.
would connect with them. Like I said, I connected with Lasso, Sci-Fi. I connected with one of the other radio guys I talked to through Doctor Who. And some of them, it was just sharing stories about working at a radio station because I'd been where they were. So we talk about radio station
Yeah.
stuff, and I got the bug again to do on air stuff.
Yeah.
So I came up with a podcast, but it was all geek. It was all like anything I wanted to talk about. And Lasso for a while was actually my producer. Like Lasso would help me with the topic, and he would go to every show. It was always live. I love doing live, so it was always live. And Lasso would come to every show and he'd chat at me and help me out while I was talking.
Oh, wow.
And then, so that went on for a little while. And then I started realizing I really kind of needed to narrow my topic down because I was kind of scattered. And then I went to the 50th anniversary Star Trek convention. Creation was doing 50th anniversary Trek around the country. They were still doing, I call them satellite shows because Vegas is like the mothership. They were still doing like those satellite shows. And it turns out that the 50th anniversary show in New Jersey was actually in South Jersey near my house. So it was the first time I've been to a convention in years. And I had the best time. That's where I met Connor and Dominic. And we hit it off. And I sang Creation. And I'm like, that's it. I'm back in love with this whole thing. And I started binge watching Enterprise. And to this day, I don't think they realize that without having met them and Nicole DeVore, without having met them. Happy birthday, Nikki. Nikki's birthday was yesterday.
Yeah, it was. I saw that.
Yeah, it was yesterday or the other day. Anyway, it was the other day.
Yeah.
I feel like it was the 20th. It was the. I feel like, you know what? I don't want to get this wrong because I hate when people get my birthday wrong. Hold on.
I'm about.
Because I can totally answer this question. Hold on, because oh, come on. It was the 20th. It was December 20th. So it was.
That's right.
It was 3 days ago.
3 days ago.
Sorry, I hate it. I hate when people get my birthday wrong. So I always like to. Anyway, Nicole DeVore's birthday was the 20th. Anyway, but having met the three of them and having so much fun, it sort of reignited my passion for conventions, reignited everything Star Trek, and I decided that's kind of. And then I started rewatching Enterprise, and completely fell in love with it all over again. I mean, I'd seen it when it first came out, but I fell in love with it all over again, and with all that connection I had to the show, it was very, and the whole underdog story, and as far as how the fandom feels about it, I always felt like Enterprise was like an underdog. I mean, it has more fans than I thought, but I've always felt like it was the underdog. So between being the underdog and just, I love the rawness of Enterprise and our first forays out into space. So there was just so much about it.
And that's what I think. That's why I liked it so much because, I mean, nothing against, Kirk and Picard and all of them, but, they had, transporters are just a common thing. Replicators in the 24th century, their phasers were, as I think, remember, Catherine Janeway made a comment, that was more like cowboy diplomacy back in the day. It was even more cowboy diplomacy during the Enterprise. And so that's what I liked about it. You actually got to see them learning how to explore, and they didn't have photon torpedoes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Archer wasn't expecting to have to be a diplomat. He was expecting to go out and say hi to people and, hi, we're Earthlings and how are you? But he wasn't expecting all the diplomacy that was put into it. I think
the getting shot at. As he said.
And I think he honestly had the most character development out of all, like okay, Janeway had her struggles because she was thrown out from like Starfleet in the niceties of the Alpha Quadrant. So she was doing New Frontier stuff, but she still had a lot more to fall back on than Archer did as far as structure. But Archer went between the second and fourth season. There was the Xindi, and say what you want about the Zindi arc and all that. And I know that a lot of people think it killed Enterprise. The Rat Pack has an entire song about it.
Yeah, but it's not.
But I love it. Jeff Combs sang that to me once, just on his own.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. But that changed him, and that's what I'm talking about. Watching how Archer developed and how his views literally changed between the first and second season, and then the third season, and then the fourth season. That was just all very interesting to me, watching Archer kind of lose the rose-colored glasses as far as that the universe is going to be awesome and everybody's going to be welcoming and this is going to be like the most incredible thing, and realizing that there are people out there that are going to want to kill you for nothing more than the fact that you exist. So I like that, and I think out of all the captains, that to me is the most change, the most development, because I think everybody else, their characters came in and they were pretty sad. You might see them change a little bit, but you don't see the kind of changes in the captains, in any of the captains that you did in Archer. Now I'm talking captains. If you want to talk about Burnham had a lot of character development, but she didn't start out as a captain. So
no, she did not.
But if we're talking about established captains on the bridge when the show started, he had the most.
Absolutely, because like that's one of the things on. Oh, I'm not going to get the title. I don't remember which title it is, but and you'll know which one it is. It's when he has to make the decision to withhold that the antidote or the cure for that race that has the. Yeah, was it Dear Doctor?
I think.
I can't remember, but you know it's when he had to make this, when he had to tell when Phlox. I think it was Dear Doctor when Phlox had to decide. I have the cure, but it's
we shouldn't give it to them. Yeah,
we shouldn't give it to it. And I again, that's another thing I always loved how the writers did this was like they'd always throw a little nugget later on, and when he's right now we don't have, but he says like someday when we have some sort of a directive. I was like, yes, the prime directive.
Yep, that was Easter egg.
Yeah, it was a little Easter egg, and even though T'Pol and him did, and that was another character. The relationship between him and T'Pol was just they started off very somewhat adversarial till the end where they were best friends.
Yeah, it's like and then in the beginning, I don't want you here. Well, I don't want to be here, and then it went, and then in one season, she's like, I'm staying. So.
Oh yeah.
Oops.
Oh.
My Alexa is letting me know there's going to be snow tomorrow.
Yeah, no snow down here in Texas. Not where I'm at.
Nice.
Yeah, no snow here.
That's one of the other things I always loved about Enterprise is that you got to see how our relationship with the Vulcans evolved. And I loved that. I loved that they brought in T'Pau, because my very favorite episode of the first one of TOS is Among Time. So I just remember the first time I saw T'Pau, I was like, I know her, and I thought they found a really great actress to play her. And I just like that. I mean, T'Pau was a really great, like, we can call them Easter eggs. T'Pau was a really great Easter egg. The Ferengi episode, I love it. The Ferengi episode, the Borg episode, they were able to weave all of them in without making it look like there were holes in canon.
Correct. And I always laugh though about the Borg, even though I love it. Regeneration. It's probably actually for my birthday. I think it was my birthday. I'm a member of Text Trek, just another Star Trek podcast, and they do certain levels of Patreon members. You pick an episode to watch or anything to watch for your birthday.
Awesome.
Was it my birthday? No, it was Halloween. It was the monthly episode. And Father Reed said, so what do you want to watch? And I was like, because he wanted a Halloween style episode. I'm like, Regeneration. Regeneration. And it was great. And the only issue I ever had with that episode was, and I know they had to do it because they couldn't, was I'm like, okay, you're telling me that the Borg could not adapt. This is my nerdy in me. I literally counted how many times they were able to shoot their phase pistols at the different Borg and take them out before they finally adapted to their weapons, and I'm like, I don't know about that
Um,
now.
no, I would argue with if they're Borg. I would argue the fact that they were Borg from Picard's time.
Yeah.
Used to adapting to certain things. So maybe the fact that these were to them ancient weapons was what threw
True.
them off.
And that was another thing.
Argue.
Someone else made a comment about that, and that they didn't have the collective behind them, the full collective. And
Right.
so I got it. And plus they had to do it. I mean, you can't. I mean, if they shoot them once, they adapt. Show's over. But anyway, and it had to. Plus, they had to live the suspense for. Well, I guess that's a 24th century problem. It's kind of how they let it go.
Yeah, I thought that was great because I've always called First Contact I've always called Enterprise the sequel to First Contact. So
correct.
So I've always felt like they threw that it was a really well done episode to be able to do the Borg that way. And Bonnie, I'm gonna butcher her last name, Bonnie
Federici.
Nah, it's Frederici. It's a C.
Okay.
Trust me. Oh, I have gone. John Billingsley's story. John sent me a little thank you note, a little thank you gift because he sat at my table at STLV. And in the return, the return address, he phonetically wrote out Bonnie's last name because he knows I have the worst trouble.
Oh gosh.
So yeah, it's not anything like it looks. It's not. It's Frederici. It's not Frederici. It's Frederici.
Yeah, Federici. Something like that.
I think that's close.
Well,
I apologize. I'm sorry, Bonnie.
Oh, we're sorry, Bonnie. We it's like
we love you.
And also, John, thank you for the photo, for the autograph that you.
Oh yeah, John. Yes, and I still have your JG one. I need to send you.
Oh, glad you said that because I totally forgot about that.
Been
busy.
I packed it in my suitcase to bring home. Yeah, you have a JG as Kolos.
Oh, sweet.
From
nice.
Which was another really good episode of Enterprise coming to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bonnie was in Regeneration.
Yep, she was. And I didn't know they were married at that time. I had no clue that they were married.
I didn't know they were married after the 50th anniversary here in Jersey. The following weekend was Labor Day weekend, and New York had a Star Trek convention called Mission New York. And I went up to go see Connor and Dominic again, and I'll go hang with some other friends that I had met in Jersey. And the one thing that Creation didn't have that Mission did was John Billingsley. And it's the first time I ever met John. And he and I were chatting, and he had a picture of he and Bonnie. He was one of his 8x10s. And I don't even, I said something. I was like, wait, I know her. And he goes, yeah, that's my wife. I'm like, oh my God, I know her from Trump. That's how I found out they were married. So I've known I've known since 2016 that they were married, and they are adorable together. They're so much fun. And Bonnie is fantastic. So I love having her. So
well, and they're very big on. They're big into the Hollywood Food Coalition, if I remember correctly.
John used to be the president. He had to step down because of acting, because of other things. But yeah, John was actually the president of the Hollywood Food Coalition for a while.
Yeah,
and then Trek Talks 4 is coming up on January 18th.
Okay, good. I've seen that coming up too. Yeah, and then because you've got because it's Armin and Kitty that are big, and Jonathan Frakes are big on PanCan. Very big because they've all Kitty had pancreatic cancer, and Jonathan Frakes lost his brother. It was or a family member.
Yeah, his brother. And Jeannie Francis lost one of the stars she used to work with on Days of Our Lives. He died.
Okay.
Yeah, and I only mentioned that because I love Days of Our Lives, and I was crushed when this actor died. He was actually still on the show. Like he died as he's been filming the show up until
a month or so ago. That's scary. So that's well, we definitely need to keep those. Definitely, those are some organizations that we definitely need to promote and sponsor somehow. Honestly, me personally, anything with cancer, yes, behind it all day long. Yeah,
absolutely. And I'm so much more aware of food waste and everything now because working with God and having done the show so many times.
That is one thing I can say now that having been in this diving very deep into this world of Star Trek
Mhm,
and fandoms and conventions and YouTubes and podcasts
mhm.
and dot 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 dot. Um, I've learned a lot more about the things that they actually, which is again, that's part of the whole Star Trek thing is, the social issues and what they actually are trying to help take care of
That's
to
why they,
even get us
yeah,
partially to the idea that Gene had.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure you've heard the phrase Trektivism. They coined the phrase Trektivism,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
strictly for that, for fans that want to get involved and help their communities
Mm-hmm.
in different ways. For me, it's about animals. I would love to find, a lot of the Trek people I know love animals. I just need to find one that like works, does something with animals because I'm a huge animal addict.
Yeah, I forgot
Um,
about that.
Elliot,
Yeah,
this is gonna bug me because I actually sometimes know people's animals' names more than I'll remember their names. I'm weird that way. So this thing that I can't remember Elliot's brother's name is gonna bug the shit out of me. But yeah, Dom had cats when we first met, and
yeah.
I had a dog and cat. I just have cats now, but
Yeah, I have my dog. He's here somewhere, being quiet. Actually, so I better not jinx myself right now for saying that.
I
Um,
actually
last
shut the door. This isn't my show, so I shut the door so the cats couldn't come in.
Oh my gosh. Oh yes, you're General Zod, and I know General Zod. We have a trip too, right? No,
I do. I have a Reed too, but he doesn't. He
we don't.
doesn't get up on my lap, so you guys don't
Yeah.
see. Reed is a tuxedo and he's a talker, so he may
Hmm.
stand on the floor and meow, but he doesn't jump up on my lap. And Vader, I've been waiting for Vader, who's my newest addition, to make an appearance.
Uh-huh.
Um, because he is definitely a lap cat, but he just hasn't felt like being on camera.
He's
But
camera
hopefully it's
shy.
yeah, because he's definitely not shy about jumping up on my desk. He's just camera shy. But I actually
Yeah.
adopted him with Darth Vader. It's the first animal I've ever adopted. I didn't have to change their name. So
Oh, nice. So I have a question. Now we kind of talked about this. We've talked about it a little bit offside and in the night I was interchanged. How did you actually get involved with the conventions? So I know you're pretty big in Trek Long Island or the Trek Long
mm-hmm.
Island, and then you did stuff with creation, I think, for or something. You were a handler or something.
I've been a handler. What happened was I after I got back into the convention worlds, I don't even remember how I stumbled on the fact that a lot of conventions take volunteers,
Mm-hmm.
and it gets you into the conventions for free. You just have to work. You just have to work. You have to do something.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the first convention I volunteered for was East Coast Comic Con,
Mm-hmm.
and they had me outside checking people's badge, like checking people's
Mm-hmm.
tickets and doing all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And then I got asked to help bring in like the 6-foot long sub that they needed for the green room. So I did that, and then they didn't miss me up front. And the other guy that was helping me carry that help, I was actually helping him carry the sub. He's like, "They're not going to miss you. Do you want to meet Simon?" And I feel so bad I can't remember his last name. One of the artists for the Stranger Things comic. And
Okay.
so I met Simon, and then I helped work his line. And then he got up to take a break, and nobody was there like to tell me what to do. So I just kind of went wandering around, and that's how I ended up literally stumbling across Tony Todd. And I'm like,
Oh.
"You guys need help?" So I kind of helped with Tony, and the other girl that was working Tony's table was really great. Her name's Panda, and she was giving me all of these like fantastic insights on like the best way to be a handler and how to
Mm-hmm.
like really, you know. And so after that, I volunteered. The only way that I got into Star Trek Las Vegas the first time I went was because I volunteered,
Okay.
because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to afford it,
Oh
because
God, yeah.
those weekend tickets are over $300. And at the time I was
Yeah.
scraping together the money for the room and everything else that I
Mm-hmm.
needed. The one thing I was missing was a ticket. So I volunteered there, and I worked with creation, and I just became really
Hmm.
friendly with the floor managers and all the other people. And it's just about just do your job and realize that you're not there to schmooze with the actors. You're there to work.
Mm-hmm.
So I really liked it. And then I worked with another really great group. They're not around anymore, but they used to do Heroes and Villains and Walker Stalker were their two big events. And I did Heroes and Villains a couple times, and I got to work with Robin Lord Taylor from Batman or from Gotham.
Oh, cool.
Which was awesome. Robin's amazing. And I got to meet Sean Pertwee. Oh my God, I love him. Yeah, so I just got to meet you, right place, right time.
Yeah.
Just kind of start meeting people. And like I said, not to blow my own horn, but I'm a hard worker and I do what I'm told and I do what I'm told. And I'm really good with people. So like when I'm working somebody's line, I'm really good with asking them to stand, nicely, like stand here and do this and and keep people engaged so that they don't leave the line, because that way they're not wandering off and we're all money. Or so I just to the point where the girl that was running the volunteers for East Coast Comic Con, every time I worked there, she gave me my choice. She's like, who do you want to work with? So I just literally rolled into being a handler there.
Okay,
that's
cool.
Yeah. And then that's how I met John Glover, who was in one episode of Deep Space Nine.
Oh, wow.
He was the Trill that came to try and steal the Dax symbiont from Jadzia.
Okay, I remember that one.
Yeah, he also played Lex Luthor's dad in Smallville.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I knew the name. That's right.
Yeah. So John and I became friends. I became friends with his booking agent. It's just about networking and getting to know people. And
true, and that's going to be the hardest part, I think, of all of this.
Yeah, I can't go to a convention now if I'm not working it or sitting at a table. I just don't know what to do with myself if I'm just wandering. The last time I went to a convention that I actually bought a ticket for was to go see my friends from Land of the Lost, and I ended up spending 90% of the time sitting with them and helping them. I'm like, I was taking their selfies for them and helping them sell stuff because I didn't know what else to do with myself.
Well, and I can see that.
I'm done.
Yeah. Well, and I see that because, I've now done, as I said that night I came on to your show, I did SpaceCon in October, and then I did Trek to Dallas in November. And I keep on getting asked by other members of the groups out there. So and Ryan, was it Ryan? Yeah, Ryan was T. Huss was giving me a hard time about, so you're going to come to STLV this coming year in 25. I'm like, I said, probably not. Unfortunately, I can't get away from work to go this year. But 2026, damn it, I am going. I don't, because I am not going to be working by.
26 is going to be a big year.
I know. So that's why I'm not so unhappy about not being able to go in 25.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'll just live through everybody else that gets to go. Their pictures and videos and the lives we got when you were there.
I keep forgetting. I talked to Ryan. I need to reach out to somebody at Creation. I want to get more permission to maybe do more videoing, maybe get permission to like walk around and talk to people and do like be like official on the floor live from Creation kind of thing.
Well, Ryan or Creation would be the one, to do that, and they need that.
That's the beauty. That's the thing about anybody, and I talk about this a lot when I do my convention 101 shows. But if you want to volunteer, like the best way to get asked back and the best way to like move up the ladder is just be respectful, do what you're told, don't whine. About and like I said, you have to, but don't ever walk into a convention thinking you're going to be a handler. Walk into a convention thinking you're going to be taking tickets, or because you are behind all the people that have paid their dues and have been doing
correct. Well, yeah, that's like the lady who was our I guess you say she was kind of our
concierge. Did you?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I did VIP. She was our concierge at Trek to Dallas, and her name is surprisingly Stephanie as well. So I've got Stephanie's coming out my yin yang here, but she had been doing. But she said she goes to a lot. Like she's been with them for a while now, and but kind of like you said, if they have a worker and who's not going to, who's going to do what they asked them to do, and stay, especially on that level for what she's doing in the VIP group, because you have to stay on. Oh God, stay on target with the star with the talent's time, because they may be going they have another somewhere else they need
Right.
to be, and when they're behind, it is a domino effect,
Yep.
big time. And as a
Yeah.
fan,
Exactly.
me sitting there, it's and obviously getting to talk to you over the last year or so, it's like 10 minutes, that's all we get. But I understand, because and then when they're running late, and it's not as much on, say, like the panels, that they're running a little bit late on a panel, but if they have a photo shoot they need to be doing, they've got to get there, because one of the ladies in our group, something happened, and they were scrambling to get her into her paid photo shoot, because either somebody was, I don't remember, it was late, something happened that delayed that actor to getting there. And it
Right.
was, and I think it was Elias, because that's why when we were on your show when Derek was on your show and I was in the chat, I was making a comment. He said, "Oh yeah, we had to give y'all extra time because they were running behind for something happened." Oh, I know, it was we changed rooms. That was what happened. We moved the VIP room. But anyway, so yes, now I have a better understanding of, like, I would love to have them there for 30 minutes, an hour, but you can't. They've got to keep going.
Yeah, and and I say this too, and Derek has said it, this is part of their job. This is part of their income. So, they have their obligations, they have the panels they have to do, they have the photo op sessions, but if they're signing in a vendor room, then that's where their bread and butter is coming from. Plus that's where they get and everything. So, but that's why I've always said, don't bother, don't pounce on somebody that's walking. Because they're going somewhere.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's like, I remember, oh my God, it's kind of, I don't even know if I shared this that night on the show. I remember I was sitting in one of the chairs at SpaceCon, and, just waiting for a line to get going or something. And Brent Spiner walks by, and I'm just like, don't do it, but no one, I mean,
I'm just bummed. I'm really bummed I can't do San Francisco, but the timing's not going to work out this year.
Yeah.
Last year I got really lucky, and I literally did it last minute. I think I literally got the flight and everything the week, like 4 days before I left. I told my boss, I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to San Francisco at the end of the week. So I have a great job.
So for those types of trips, that's when, for me, my technology that I wish that we had today, we transporters all day long.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because of that, because then you could throw all your souvenirs on one transporter pad and you on the other, and not have to worry about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I agree. That's my one technology I wish we had, besides some of the medical stuff. But yeah, if I could just, because it would make that drive to Dallas, that 7-hour drive there and back, a whole lot more fun, a lot easier.
Yeah, but it's funny. I wouldn't mind a transporter to get me from here to LA. But if it comes to driving, but I'm still a road trip person. So if it's drivable in a day, I would still totally do that. I would just love a transporter just when I need to get across the country.
Correct. And I enjoyed it. I mean, you're right. I like the road trips.
Yeah.
But when they're trying to get there, for me, I was trying to squeeze so much. I had squeezed SpaceCon, that trip to LA, and then trek to Dallas, like boom, 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 with like 1 week in between them all. And I'm just like, oh my God, if I could have just beamed my ass out to LA, done the show. Done the show.
Yeah, but you got to go, and I know that was something you really wanted to do. I have yet to be at a taping. My timing is bad. When I was in LA for the Hollywood show, I reached out to Dave Zappone, and I'm like, "You are taping?" He's like, "Nope." I'm like, "Son of a bitch."
Yeah.
The Hollywood show. This is the second time that I've been out there wanting to do a taping. Once when the Shuttle Pod show was still on, and then this time. So I mean, it's on my list. It's on my list to see if Dave will. I'm not a Patreon yet. They need guys. I love you, Decon Chamber, but you need a $5 level. Right now, $10 isn't. I would totally do a $5 level of Patreon for them.
Is 10 the lowest? I can't remember.
Well, last time I checked, 10 was the lowest.
Anyway, well, I think I'm going to let you go for tonight, but I appreciate you coming on, doing this for me, and we will definitely stay in touch. And I guess tell everybody where they can find you on all the socials.
Yay! Okay, so my show is transmissions from the NX-7062. It's live Monday nights, 10 p.m. East on YouTube. And I'm either the NX-7062 or NX. Just look up NX-7062 on the socials, and you will find me. I just started on Blue Sky. I still do X just because I have the followers there. But I'm on Facebook. I'm on Insta. So just look me up. And my next booth appearance is going to be at STLV. Yep. I'm going to be working Trek Long Island with John Billingsley, and I'm going to be working Shore Leave, but they have not announced who my person is. So, but I mean, Shore Leave and Trek Long Island are two amazing East Coast Star Trek conventions. So just look them up too, and I will be there. But yeah, John Billingsley and Bonnie are both going to be with me in Trek Long Island, and it's going to be amazing. Or I'm going to be with them, I guess I should say. I'm going to be.
Do you know when that is?
Yes, Trek Long Island is May. It's May 30th, 31st, and 1st.
Okay, I was just making sure. So good. All right,
and
so we've got that.
I still have some free passes in my in my possession, and I am allowed to give them to whoever I want. Cool. So if anybody out there that sees this after it airs is interested in passes to Trek Long Island, it is in Hog Long Island. It's a beautiful hotel. It's a great location. But if anybody's interested and they send me a DM and ask me if I have any passes left, I just might. So you'll have passes for the weekend, and then all you need to do is worry about finding a place to stay and getting there. But you will be able to get in all weekend. And it's great. It's incredibly supportive of the LGBTQ community. Library for the Kind, because the woman that runs it is a librarian. So it's very charity oriented, very Trek-vism oriented. So it's definitely something that everybody should check out.
All right. Well, I hope everybody does. All right. Well, I thank you for being here. Everybody have a lovely evening.
Bye.